And we're officially recording. Okay, so first off, welcome Adam to this quick little interview over here.
Hey.
For those of you watching, Adam has been a client with us for a long time now. So before we get started into it, Adam, just give us a little bit of an overview about your experience in the film industry, who you are, what you've been doing, and we kind of want to get into a few more questions so the audience can get a good grasp of what you're doing.
Yeah, well, I've had this kind of amazingly, fantastically lucky life in that I've been able to sit at just about every seat of the table of film and media and entertainment. I was a senior executive at Walt Disney Studios. I was the president of National Geographic Films. In and around and between those things, I worked for different studios, different companies independently. I made big features and little features. I made documentaries and little documentaries. I made movies that won some Academy Awards and movies that nobody's ever heard of. And I'm actually really glad that nobody's heard of them now, even though at the time I was kind of happy that they got made. I just finished producing my 36th film, which is a film called Sicilian Holiday. We shot it in Sicily. It'll be out later this year. And among the movies that I have worked on and been responsible for, sort of going back into the last century, literally, are movies like Dead Poets Society and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, two films that I made very early in my career. In the middle distance, a film like March of the Penguins, which still stands as the most profitable nature documentary of all time, and won the Academy Award for Best Documentary Feature. In the much closer distance, a documentary like A Plastic Ocean, which we're proud to say has affected the lives of more than 1 billion people and changed more than 150 laws around the world. And what we're doing now at Media U is training and mentoring people, because it shouldn't be so hard to figure out how to express yourself and be in the film, media, entertainment, television space. It shouldn't be so hard to know that there's more than 150 professions in our industry, that they should be accessible, they should be open. We need to know how to do it. We need to show people the lay of the land, what goes on behind the doors, in the rooms, behind the curtain. And that's what we're doing at Media U, both on our platform and also in collaboration with some learning institutions.
Right, that's awesome. And when we talked last time, you talked a little bit about scaling stories and how to tell stories and the overarching goal for the long-term vision for Media U. Talk to us a little bit about where you see Media U going, and really talked a little bit about what made you get into that. Just get into a little bit more, because I think there's a lot of people that could benefit through the Media U program itself.
Yeah, well, look, I've been thinking a lot about sustainability recently. And why do we live in a world that is not sustainable? It's because the stories that we're being told, the narratives that we're being told, are not sustainable narratives. And how do we transform us into a society that is sustainable, also fair, just, democratic, equitable, by having narratives and stories that are fair, just, equitable, democratic, interesting, entertaining, engaging. And this means they need to be told by people who are also democratized. The access to storytelling tools, whether it is in front of the camera or behind the camera or in the back office that just makes everything work, that access has really not been very open. And if we want to have a world that changes, the thing that really changes worlds, that changes cultures and societies, is the narratives that govern and form the web by which those societies are structured. So that's what our very largest objective with Media U, is to be an agent of change and a tool for people to have both social growth, collective growth, and personal growth. Personal growth by expressing themselves in whatever way they want in the media industries, and in terms of social change and growth by constructing stories and narratives and media of all kinds that are really positive and necessary, because, hey, we know things are not perfect the way they are right now. How can we help to make them perfect? I think that's our job.
Right. It's an awesome movement. It's going to impact a lot of people. I'm very, very confident. So let's talk about how Media U is coming about. You've been a lot of the times behind the camera. You've been calling the shots behind the camera. And now you're actually building your personal brand out with the help of social media. What kind of made you want to get into this social media space, building a personal brand space, and how's your experience been so far as you're growing a personal brand over here?
Well, I've always had a ton of respect for people in front of the camera. I have a ton more respect for them now. It's the hardest job on the set. I mean, let's just first start talking about actors who are amazing because they somehow remember their lines and they know where they are in the course of a story, whether if we're shooting out of sequence and they somehow know where their character is emotionally. Okay, so just me with this thing staring me in the face, trying to shoot my own videos. It's completely, it's complicated and it takes me multiple times to get it right, but I'm getting better. I'm getting more comfortable with it. I'm learning and I'm starting to feel good about it as a tool. I actually love it as a communications tool. I love that I can just turn my phone on my face or on the world around me and talk to people, thousands of people, quickly, pretty much instantly, and have that clear window of communication back and forth with them. And also the comments and questions that I get are fabulous. Sometimes there are way too many to reply to. So because some of my TikToks have had thousands of comments, but I do look at as many as I can and reply to as many as I can. And I really like the engagement.
Right. So this is something I wanted to ask you, is that as you see like how the virality aspect in the social media space, how you can build a personal brand. And let's say, for example, no one knew you. A lot of people do recognize you. Do you see that the personal branding space, the social media space, is a tool that up and coming artists or up and coming film producers or up and coming directors can use as a tool to basically get their name out there, or maybe showcase them in a way that maybe they're not using? Do you see that as a tool that can be used?
Well, it's absolutely essential. And by the way, nobody recognizes me because, like, although a couple of people,
we have a couple people, yeah.
A couple people sent on TikTok that I look like Jake Gyllenhaal, Michael Imperioli, and one person said Tom Cruise, which I kind of like, but really, nobody recognizes me because I'm not in front of the cameras. But yeah, look. One of the things that we emphasize at Media U, and I emphasize in every discussion I have with people who are creatives, is you've got to build your personal brand. It is now the job of creatives to bring their audiences with them. That job has downshifted to creatives. And creatives used to say, well, you know, the studio or the publishing house or the network or the streamer, they will take care of all the marketing. No, actually, we got to do it ourselves. And that just becomes part of our toolkit. The advantage is that we now bring our audience with us, that a creative can go from studio to studio or streamer to streamer and actually carry their audience with them instead of having that audience entirely owned by the studio or the streamer or the publishing house or the company. That's a good thing.
Right. And it's a real advantage that if you do build your personal brand, and even if you're established in the industry or unestablished in the industry, it is always something that adds to basically value that you can provide, right?
Yep.
Absolutely. Okay, so that was kind of like what I wanted to get into, what your experience has been, what Media U has been, and what you see as social media and personal branding as a tool. Obviously, we've been working together for the last 6 months, and we're going to hopefully work for the next few years. I really want to talk a little bit about how your journey has been to growing from absolutely 0 followers on TikTok and Instagram and having no personal brand to kind of the journey it has been to basically getting millions of views. You've seen how fast your account has blown up overnight. Tell me about the journey, what you felt, maybe the discomfort of getting in front of the camera from the first day to like now, how you're garnering these millions of views.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as I said, as it started, I was uncomfortable. Got some great coaching from you and your team. Got more comfort. The key for me was, and I think probably the key for everybody, is regularity and putting up enough content. And my level of followers was just sort of sitting there at 100, 150 for a few months, but we just kept putting stuff out. And at a certain point, we hit we broke through a plateau. We hit a critical mass, and then like within 24 hours, it went from 150 to 10,000, and then it's just kept climbing from there. And Instagram has been moving in parallel also, which is pretty great. So I think it's about consistency, and it's about content, and it's about putting out. So I would say it's about putting out content that is interesting and relevant, and I'd say for everybody else, unique to you, whoever you are. That it's that it's got it, like what I share on social media is based on my experience and the fact that in fact that I've seen thousands of movies and I have opinions about them, and I have an aesthetic, and it doesn't have to be your aesthetic, which is completely fine, but it's great to talk about our collective tastes and what we like and what we don't like. And it's fine if I like something you don't like. It's fine if you like something I don't like, but it's great to talk about it, because that means that we're talking about the creative process and refining our experience of it. Right now I'm in the middle of doing a series of my top 300 movies. And I kind of got myself into this because I was doing a duet where somebody listed their top 10, and I gave some comments, and I said, well, I don't know. It's like, you got 10, I got my top 300, which was kind of an offhand comment, but I kind of do have like at least the top 300. And a bunch of people said, could you do your top 300, please? So I'm in the middle of doing it, and it's so great. And here's one of the really amazing things: top 300, there's movies I'm leaving out.
Yeah.
There have been some tough calls here, but we're working our way up to the top 10. But it's going to be several cycles before we get there.
Right, 100%. So last couple of questions here. You saw how the process was and how it was. We've really made it an effort to make sure your tonality is there, your authenticity is there, and everything. What would you kind of say to people that are starting out and that they might be demoralized, whether it be an up-and-coming artist or an established person in the industry? It takes time to catch fire, right? What would you kind of tell them to kind of keep their head straight and make sure that they're going through with it?
I think the same thing that I would tell them about any part of their creative journey, which is the greatest tool that you have in your toolbox, is persistence. Mm-hmm. Keep going. Just got to keep going. And that ability to keep going, even when you're not immediately seeing results, is essential, because you are building up, you're building up a body of work on the social media platform that adds to your credibility, builds your presence. And then once things begin to catch fire, all those videos that might have been sitting there for 3 views suddenly jump up to 6,000 views, because now people are looking to see what you've done.
Right, absolutely. And that's what we've seen with your account. Like the amount of views, the amount of comments that we've been seeing so far, it has been tremendous. And it's only the start. We're going to work together for the next year, and I'm pretty sure by the end of the year you'll be one of the biggest people that would be talking in that space. So that's really good. Last 2 questions. I want to hear about what has been the journey working with ViralGrowth. How's our strategist team overall has been with you, and just your candid feedback about us.
Yes. Hang on a sec. Yes. First part of feedback: turn off your phone before you're doing an interview. Your team's been great. Your team has been really great, and I would ask you, how have you trained them to be so service oriented? Because they're very, very attuned.
Yeah. So I think we really believe in leading with empathy. And actually, the way we built ViralGrowth is because we tried to get this service from other people before, and we hated it. You ask a question in the Slack channel, you'll get a response 24 hours later. That to me is disrespectful. If someone's a client of mine and they don't get responses right away, so every single employee that comes in, every single team member that comes in, we really train them to treat the company as if it's their own. really take responding and listening to what people say. I think that's the main the aspect of a business, is that listening and really truly caring about the client. I'm like that. Simon is like that, and I think it trickles down. And we have a fantastic team, and everybody in the team really cares about every single person that comes in. So I think that has been our unfair advantage against all the other companies in the space, and we've really made sure that we put the client first at all times. And we don't never actually treat it like a client. If you see like the channels we have as the owners and the channels that our clients have, it's the exact same treatment that both of us get. So that's really what allows us to kind of set the tone and make sure they're service oriented for sure.
Right.
Last question: would you recommend peers or people in your space to work with ViralGrowth? And if this is something that you would encourage people to get into?
I would definitely recommend it to people who are prepared to make the personal commitment and really want to do it. I don't think this is something that you jump into for 30 days and then jump out of. You know, it's like, and this is also the same with, you know, people who want to upskill and in any area of life. You don't jump in for, you have to really look at it, decide you want to do it. If you want to do it, yeah, I would love to recommend you.
Awesome. So that's all the questions I've had. I'm very, very excited about Media U. I think what you're set out to do with that, especially with the idea of telling stories in a way that creates a better world, I think it will have, you know, reverberating effects across a good mass of people. So very excited with that. Very excited to be a part of that. ViralGrowth will be with you throughout the whole process and helping out any way possible. Any parting words you'd like to say before we finish this interview up?
Thank you so much. Check out MediaU.com, sign up, join us. We have a ton of amazing free content, like really amazing free content, where people from all areas of the entertainment industry are freely, openly, and in really concise format, sharing their advice, their mentoring tips, their mindset coaching for how you can come into multiple areas of the business. And we want to open up the business to more people. So come on in. Right on. All right, everybody, check out Media U. We will leave the links along with this email or YouTube video, wherever you guys are seeing it. It's I've gone through it. I've seen it. It's a fantastic program. And I would highly recommend everyone looking at it. Adam, thank you so much for joining us on this interview. And we hope to drive a lot more results soon. Thank you so much. Take care. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Awesome. We're gonna stop the recording here. Let's quickly stop it. There we go.